Back at Chicago Stadium, where the Detroit Pistons come in with a 4-1 record on the road in the playoffs. They have actually lost fewer games on the road than the Bulls have lost at home. There's Isaiah Thomas. And Horace Grant, who needs to have a big game if the Bulls are to move this series along. Earl Strom, Hugh Evans, and Joe Crawford are the officials working this game 6. The teams split the first two in Detroit. The Bulls actually won the opening game. They split games 3 and 4 before the Pistons were victorious on their home floor in game 5 on Wednesday night. Pistons in blue, the Bulls in white.
Let's see now if the Detroit will go down inside and try to get Mark Aguirre off early.
Jordan is guarding Lane Beer as the game starts. Isaiah Thomas hits the first basket. And we'll watch that at the other end. And if Jordan is playing Lane Beer, and if they're ever long rebounds, Jordan is going to have an easy foray down the court.
Well, as we look at Chicago in the last couple of ball games, they've tried to start out by going down inside, trying to get Michael Jordan and Cartwright.
Here's Jordan. This shot, Lane Beer, the rebound, and here's Thomas. This has not been a running series. It's been a half-court affair. Aguirre. Mahorn. And the rebound by Grant. Scottie Pippen was hit in the face, and he's hurt. Joe Crawford is dragging him off the floor as play continues.
The other 4 players have no idea that he's not out there.
We're going to have a jump ball. And Mark Feil, the Chicago trainer, is out now with Scottie Pippen, and a 20-second timeout is called by the Bulls.
Here we have the replay. You can see Pippen right in the center of your screen. He's going up, and then he takes the elbow as Lambier comes down from that rebound. He catches him with the left elbow right in the face.
Scottie Pippen has been the second leading scorer for the Chicago Bulls and their leading rebounder in this series.
Here we have another look at it. You'll see that it's an accident. There it is right there. Lambier did not have any idea of who was there, whether it was a Chicago player or a Detroit Piston.
Well, Bill Lambier has been a villain in the past, but you're right. This was purely accidental on his part. A minute and 2 seconds have gone by, and Bill Lambier inadvertently hit Scottie Pippen with an elbow at the top of the head. Joe Crawford, one of the officials, dragged him off as play continued. Finally, a 20-second timeout, a full timeout. He's still being worked on, and Pat O'Brien is over there right now. Pat?
Well, Dick, Doug Collins has now come over, and he's also leaning over Scottie Pippen. The trainer and a doctor from the house is here. I'm not going to pretend to know what's wrong with him just yet. They've been asking him a lot of very simple questions. Did you get hit? Where are you? That sort of thing. For a while, it looked like he was unconscious, but now I think they're just keeping him as still as possible and working on him. We'll be right here. There, you got a little smile there. Is he okay, Doug? Doug Collins says he's okay, so let's hope for the best, and back to you, Dick.
All right, Pat, thank you very much. And while we wait for the replacement for Scottie Pippen, first the hand as he slowly gets up. He's going to be helped up. He really took a whack.
You can see he's quite foggy right now. He's trying to clear his head. Over there right now, Sellers has taken off the sweat clothes.
We'll see if Scottie Pippen can get back. He's being helped off, and Brad Sellers will replace him, and Pippen will sit down at the end of the dressing room. This is the 6th game of this Eastern final, and it has been a low-scoring final. In fact, only one team has scored 100 points in any game. That was the Pistons. They scored 100 in winning game 2. On the jump ball, Mahorn jumping with Cartwright, and it's controlled by Chicago. So a delay when Scottie Pippen was hit. It is 2-0 Detroit. Opening 2 minutes of play of game 6. Jordan looks for the open man. It's Grant trying to score.
That was interesting, Dick. You see the movement of the people going to the basket.
Aguirre lost the pass. He was in good position underneath, and on the turnover, the Bulls come back. Pistons want to take the crowd out of this, and the crowd is in it right now. That's Craig Hodges.
The main thing to zero in on is how quickly Detroit gets to the double team of Michael Jordan. At the other end of the floor, the movement and the guard's taking the majority of the shots.
That's what they've done all year. Thomas misses. Aguirre keeps it alive. The Pistons with a tremendous offensive rebounding edge in this series. They have 28 more offensive rebounds than the Bulls coming in, which is a huge number. Sellers forces the turnover to Jordan. Open court, 2-on-1. Here it is. So he's already taken 2 shots in the game. He only had 8 in game number 5.
Well, Detroit will calm you down. They'll work their plays.
Steal. He kept it in bounds. Here it is again.
Oh! Yes! Oh!
This is one for the book, QB. He's done a lot of great shots, but I've never seen this before from him.
Well, you see, it was an excellent save. Now, when he gets it back, you'll see him elevate, do a 360, and just toss it up.
He misses the free throw, but the crowd doesn't care. The Bulls are up 8-2, and Michael Jordan has already given them their money's worth. Joe Dumars hits the jumper from outside. That foul was on Lambeer. Greg Hodges inside to Grant. They need a big one from Grant. Aguirre the rebound, 8-4.
They really don't need the 4th shot, Dick. What they need is some more movement, attack the basket, off the dribble or through the pivot area. On the line.
The Pistons turn it over for the second time. Quickly, Pat O'Brien, what do you have?
I'm standing behind Scottie Pippen, who says he's okay, but he was knocked out cold. He thinks it was from one of his own players. Now, the players on the bench are talking now that sort of sets the tempo of this game. Now they know it's going to be physical. Let's go back to Dick.
Well, it was advertised to be that when the series started. Basically, it has been not that much of a physical series. Certainly no incidents of note. Jordan is fouled going to the hoop. So all of a sudden, we are seeing a Michael Jordan that is hardly passive.
We're going to take another look here of Michael Jordan elevating here, going for the 360 move. There you go with the toss.
We could see that all night. Jordan outside. Rebound by Lambeer. Lambeer has not had a good series for the Pistons, and he's showing early aggressiveness for him. Thomas lost it. 5 turnovers already by the Detroit Pistons in less than 3.5 minutes. The Bulls, who had a horde of turnovers, which led to their loss in game number 5, have not committed any. So that's how it goes from game to game. Jordan, Sellers.
See, what I like early, Dick, is that he's definitely trying to create for his ball club. He's taking it hard off the dribble and making things happen if the offense does not open up early.
Grant is guarding Aguirre. And Aguirre hits from outside, but everything by the Pistons have been from the perimeter thus far. Dumars is guarding Jordan. Dumars all defensive team. Thomas is sticking with Hodges. Cartwright trying to get Mahorn in foul trouble again. He's done it the last 2 games, but Mahorn played him tight there. 7:35 remaining in the first quarter. 10-6 Chicago. And on the missed shot. Double team on Jordan. Sellers. So what the Bulls don't get with the rebounding of Pippen, they get with the outside shooting of Sellers, who despite 7 feet tall is not an inside player at all.
Well, he's an excellent shooter from 16 to 20 feet away, and this would be a major help to this ball club tonight.
Aguirre gets it stripped by Jordan, but Dumars recovers. And we'll have a whistle, and let's see if we have to adjust the clock.
Well, that time on the initial shot, Michael Jordan came, blocked the shot, and right now what they're talking about here, you'll see him come right from the top of your screen. There's your shot block, and what we're talking about now is, did the clock go down? inside of 24 seconds. If it did not, then what about the possession? The referees, I'm pretty sure, are going to rule that there was a possession by the Bulls. That would start a new shot clock.
Now they've just changed the clock to 14 seconds. There is Scottie Pippen being worked on by the team doctor and Mark Feil, the trainer. Pippen was hurt in the first minute of play, took an elbow. Dumars works inside as it knocked away by Jordan. Michael Jordan is playing like a man possessed early in this game after sleepwalking perhaps through game number 5.
Well, he's their best double team guy and one of their premier rebounders.
A three-point attempt by Isaiah Thomas misses. Grant has the rebound.
He had to force that because the clock was down.
Hubie, the Bulls have 6 baskets. Jordan has 2 of them, and he has assisted on the other 4. He has still figured in all the baskets by the Bulls, who are up 14-6. And all Chuck Daly would like to do is take the basketball away, it would seem right now.
What's happening is his movements are so quick that he's beating the defensive man before the trap can get there.
Nearly halfway through this first period, short on Dumar's shot, but alertly gets the offensive rebound. Here's Sellers. Now Jordan.
Nice.
Grant. Timeout, Detroit. The tale of Michael Jordan and the Bulls fade. Every time he has been held to under 30 points, the Bulls have lost 3 times by Detroit. Those are the numbers. But he's off to a hot start. Hubie, what did he do here?
On this post-up, you see how he's pinning Dumars so that he can make the catch. Now, once it happens, watch how quickly he goes baseline and how he beats Dumars, but also Lambier on the double team.
Jordan has 3 baskets and 5 assists. Chicago has 8 field goals, so he has figured in everything thus far. Michael Jordan, who has averaged just under 35 points a game in the playoffs, and was the hero in game 3 with a basket with 3 seconds to go.
The Detroit offense has been all perimeter dead. They are not taking good shots, and I think Chuck Daly has really must be disappointed with the early play.
Aguirre is fouled by Bill Cartwright. That is the first Chicago foul of the game, and Aguirre will go to the line. Mark was the leading scorer for the Pistons in the 3rd game with 25 points. He was the object of the big trade that sent Adrian Dantley to Dallas in exchange for Aguirre. Scottie Pippen is leaving the floor and going to the Chicago dressing room. It's very rare, Hubie, that a team playing as well as Detroit would make a trade of superstars in midseason, but that's what they did.
Well, they seem to be very pleased with Aguirre. The team is 41-6 since he has joined them, so they're very happy with the end result.
16-8 Chicago. So Sellers has big shoes to fill, though he's a big man himself at 7 feet. 7 on the shot clock. Cartwright double team. Good defense. And the foul on the other side. So Chicago getting the offensive board from an unlikely guy.
Yeah, but you see, Brad Sellers led the Big Ten in rebounding. It isn't like he cannot board. Tonight, he must answer the bell because Grant must stay in this game with Scottie Pippen out. Scottie Pippen is their leading rebounder if Grant is out of the game. So Sellers must step forward in that side.
Aguirre commits the foul, and Dennis Rodman has come in the game, and he's a man to watch. Rodman has been a sensational rebounding and defensive star for Detroit's victories. Pat O'Brien, anything quickly?
Just talked to Mark Feil, the trainer of the Pistons. Scottie Pippen was taken into the locker room. They're going to lay him down. Apparently, he has trouble focusing on anything. He can't see very well. They're just going to lay him down, and let's see what happens, and we'll stay on the story. Back to you.
All right, Pat. Vinnie Johnson has also come in for the Pistons, and we're looking at Chicago's trap at midcourt. Haven't seen much of it in this series here.
Well, what they're trying to do now is to run the clock, get the Pistons out of their half-court sets, and force up a bad percentage shot.
Here's a 3 by Lambier, who's been ice cold in this series. He was hit in warm-ups before Game 4. Sellers with a runner. And Brad Sellers has come off the bench for Scottie Pippen, who's in the dressing room and has scored 8 points. And what a boost he has given Doug Collins' Bulls. 20-8 Chicago. 4:40 to go in the first, and Vinnie Johnson slices in for the basket and draws the foul. So here's the guy who scored 16 fourth-quarter points for the Pistons in the last game, and Horace Grant commits his first personal foul.
Well, Vinnie Johnson, Dumars, and Isaiah Thomas feel that they can take the guards off the dribble and then cause defensive rotations and break the Bulls down.
Failed on the free throw attempt, 20-10. Here's Jordan.
He's a different man tonight, Dick.
A lot of people thought maybe Michael Jordan was sensing I have maybe 2 good games left in me. Maybe it'll be 6 and 7. But the Bulls have to win tonight to force a 7th game. Here's Isaiah Thomas. Tipped up and in by Rodman. Dennis Rodman.
The pressure without Pippen in there is a key rebounder. Sellers and Grant must play big in there and help out with Cartwright and Jordan on the board.
Jordan hits another jumper. He has 10 points.
Look out.
And he is on line for a huge scoring effort tonight, with just under 4 minutes remaining in the first quarter.
I like this strategy by Collins.
Slices through. Here comes Grant. Sellers. And they'll call an offensive foul, loose ball foul against on Brad Sellers for the Bulls. But you know, you made the point, he was the Big Ten rebounding champ, and he's called upon in a very key role early in this game. But the fact is, since he's come into the NBA, he has not gone near the basket. His touch has been his game.
That's right, and the knock is that he's a 7-foot player, and he has to play a small forward position. But what I really like tonight is he's answering the bell and he's attacking aggressively offensively.
Dave Corzine and John Paxson in for Chicago. John Sally has checked in for the Detroit Pistons. You're watching the NBA on CBS from Chicago Stadium. Dick Stockton and Hubie Brown and Pat O'Brien here. The Detroit Pistons trying to close out the Bulls and meet the Lakers in the NBA Finals, but it's been a tough haul for Detroit. Vinnie Johnson with a spinning basket and a foul will go to the line to try to bring the Pistons closer. The Detroit Pistons bench, led perhaps by Vinnie Johnson and helped by those others, Sally, Rodman, and Edwards, have really had the number of the Chicago Bulls in playing time, scoring, and rebounding thus far.
Well, the key there is the minutes, Dick. The amount of minutes that they're getting, naturally the points are going to be up, and also the rebounding.
James Edwards, who has had 2 big scoring games for the Pistons, has come in for Bill Laimbeer, and Horace Grant has picked up his 2nd personal foul, and he's been replaced by Charles Davis. So you're right, without Pippen, they can't get Grant in foul trouble, and he's on the bench with 2.
Well, that is a key move.
Jordan ducks in behind it, Davis. Turnover. Here's Vinnie Johnson, defended by Paxson, and it looked like he walked. He did.
Well, what he did was he was out in front, and he was concerned about getting Paxson off him, and he put out that left elbow and moved Paxson, and by doing that, it forced the turnover.
Just under 3 minutes to go in the first quarter. Paxson guarded by Thomas. Offensive foul against Paxson, pushing off, and a good call.
Excellent anticipation by Isaiah Thomas that time, using the sideline to help him to cut off that lane, forcing a charge.
Chuck Daly has to make sure with the lineup he has that he has enough scorers in there. He has a fine defensive unit, and right now Edwards, Thomas, and Vinnie Johnson are the scorers. Good pick and roll move. Johnson, but Sally missed it.
You can't miss those. That should have been a 2-handed dunk. It was too casual.
Jordan gets hit hard in the paint and is fouled. He'll shoot 2.
You know, I read his eyes that time, Dick. And when he went down in there, it looked like he was going to pass that ball, but then he decided, I'm taking it all the way. There it is, right there.
John Sally's first foul. Each team has 4 team fouls. When you reach 5, it's a penalty. And it's a two-shot situation. Here's Michael Jordan. Off to a brilliant start. Going for his 12th point. Already has hit 5 of 7 baskets. There's Sam Vincent, the point guard. Will come in and could be giving Jordan breathing time here. Doug Collins has to be very judicious on when he decides to give Jordan a breather. But he's got to get some rest in this game.
Well, you have to remember in this series, he's averaging 43 minutes a game.
Vinnie Johnson is pushed. Paxson with a second foul, and it's the penalty. Will send Vinnie Johnson to the line for 2 shots.
Sam Vincent checks in.
So Vincent will come in, and Michael Jordan goes out. He has scored 12 points and gets a big hand, plus 5 assists. Good time to rest him.
It's a good time because they have a nice control of the game. The guy that they must watch right now is the fella on the foul line, Vinnie Johnson. He's not called a microwave for nothing, because when he comes in like this, he goes into an unconscious zone, and he can score versus any player. But what you do not want to do right now is to put Michael Jordan in a defensive position where he's got to chase Vinnie and totally exhaust him. Like Chuck Daly said, it's still a 48-minute game.
The shooting percentages stark in favor of the Bulls right now. Craig Hodges is back in there, replacing Paxson. Vincent and Hodges, the backcourt tandem. Charles Davis. Rebound Thomas with 2:10 remaining in the first quarter. And Thomas is fouled, and he'll go to the line to shoot 2.
Foul is on Sam Vincent, his first.
The gauge for the Bulls, of course, is always Michael Jordan, but for the Detroit Pistons, it's Isaiah Thomas. When the Pistons win, that's what he scores a game and shoots well. When they lose, he has a horrid offensive game. So far tonight, he is 1 for 6 from the field, and that was only his 3rd point.
Yeah, but what he's doing, he's beating the defensive player off the dribble, getting down inside and making things happen. So when you have a player of Isaiah's talent, you know that he is a streak player.
Chuck Daly's concern coming in, he said, was offense. I don't worry about the defensive side, but we need points. Here's Vincent. This is the jump shot. Gets his own rebound.
The second unit has got to back the ball out and take good shots.
Here's Corzine. So the Bulls now hitting and taking shots and missing from the perimeter. Leading by 8, and Rodman cuts it to 6. Dennis Rodman seeing his earliest action.
See, if I'm Chuck Daly, I like the way Isaiah is pushing the ball. He's making things open up quickly. Detroit is not shooting well, and they're only 6 down.
Corzine with the hook misses. And now they can cut it to 4. The Pistons have run off 6 straight points. Vinnie Johnson. And Rodman, or Sally, comes in. John Sally off the top. And now the Bulls, who are up by 12 points at one time, have their lead cut to 4.
See, the second unit is struggling, Dick. The majority of shots are poor perimeter shots with plenty of time left on the shot clock.
Like that, that's a perfect example as Sellers rushed it. Pistons, and Davis knocks it away, but Detroit, with 44 seconds left, can cut it to 2.
Here you have Isaiah up-tempoing the action. Now look to the left of your screen. There was a nice ball fake by Isaiah, setting Rodman up. That was a tough shot. That was about 8 feet away, a difficult shot to swish.
Double team on Thomas, but here's Edwards. And it's a 2-point game. James Edwards, who has scored 13 and 12 in the last 2 games and has hurt Chicago. Pistons have run off 10 in a row, and that much time remaining in the first quarter. 12 on the shot clock. Bulls have missed their last 6 shots. And another turnover, and the Pistons have come back in rapid fashion. Concern for Doug Collins.
See, in the last 7 possessions, the Chicago Bulls second unit have 5 jump shot attempts and a turnover. The only thing down inside was a missed hook by Corzine, plus no offensive rebound.
Playing for the last shot of the quarter, the pick and roll by the center, and Edwards can't make it out of bounds. Still Detroit ball. 2 seconds remain in the first quarter. Edwards. Well, the Bulls had a huge lead of 12 for the first quarter, and the Pistons cut it to 2. And that's the end of the first period with the score. The Bulls 26 and the Pistons 24. And we'll return to Chicago Stadium after this word from your local station. Welcome back to CBS Sports coverage of the 1989 NBA playoffs. The Detroit Pistons scored the last 10 points of the period to trail the Bulls 26-24. If Chicago wins this one, Game 7 will come your way Sunday from the Palace at Auburn Hills at 1 o'clock Eastern. But in any event, the finals of the NBA great season will occur. Game 1 Tuesday night at 9 o'clock Eastern time. Well, Hubie, the Chicago Bulls have really dominated Detroit in first quarters, but they have gone downhill, it seems, in almost every game since.
Well, they've been always able to wear them down, especially with this unit.
Michael Jordan is in the game as the period starts. Davis misses the shot. So the same story.
They're not getting any offensive rebounds, Chicago. They're struggling, and at this end of the floor, Detroit's been able to get 4 second shots and put the ball back in and make it happen.
Edwards foul and can tie the score with free throws. One thing about Detroit, they have cut Chicago's offensive rebounding each succeeding game. The Bulls had a lot in game 1, and they've gotten very few since then, as Bill Cartwright will come back into the contest, replacing Corzine, and the starters now seat back for Chicago.
Well, what I like is the awareness of the other players to James Edwards. Detroit understands that he is a very big-time scorer. You do not average double figures in this league for 11 consecutive years unless you have talent. He has an excellent low post game.
He missed the free throws, but generally Edwards has given him good offense, and that's part of that great bench you referred to at the top. Jordan feeds off the hands of Grant. Very important here is that Grant has to avoid picking up his 3rd personal foul.
Big thing is when Michael Jordan gets double teamed, you must keep your hands up because you know he's going to deliver the pass to you if you're open.
Vinnie Johnson with the microwave shot has tied the score at 26. Bulls had a 12-point lead in the first quarter. Chicago's going 4.5 minutes without a basket now.
Watch how quick they get to him.
Jordan is fouled before the shot. Not a shooting foul. And Joe Dumars with his first personal foul. The Detroit Pistons in the Eastern Finals for the 3rd straight year. Last year they finally made it the charm. Got to the finals against the Lakers and lost in 7. Hodges misses the shot, but again it's perimeter shooting by Chicago or nothing.
Well, it's playoff time, and you're not going to beat a good defensive team from outside in the NBA for 48 minutes.
Vinnie Johnson. Rebound by Cartwright. Chicago is drawn cold, very cold in the last 5 minutes. Jordan.
Michael is determined to take it to the line.
Will go to the line and shoot.
Michael is not accepting the fact that 2 and 3 guys are trapping him. He is bent on breaking it and taking and creating a shot for himself once he's in that painted lane area.
Edwards' foul is first, and here is Grant on the line. Grant already with 6 rebounds, had a big 20-rebound game in the victory in the 3rd game by the Bulls.
Charles Davis.
Brad Sellers will replace Charles Davis for Chicago. Sellers had to report in early when Scottie Pippen was hit in the head by an errant elbow and went to the dressing room and has not come back. Bulls missed their 2nd leading scorer, Grant, with 1 free throw, and it's the Chicago leading by 1. Vinnie Johnson, he'll shoot as long as he feels he's hot, and even then he'll keep shooting. Rebound Jordan. And the foul. Rodman tried to get him from behind. And John Sally got him in front with his 2nd personal foul. Just under 10 minutes to go in the 2nd quarter. A lot of time left in the half.
Dick, here at the Palace, tickets normally go for up to $100. Well, tonight they're only $3. The catch, of course, is that the game is being played 350 miles away.
wonder, Hubie, if those fans are going to stay in those seats in case they have a Game 7 on Sunday and not go home.
What I like about it is it gives people an opportunity who might not had a chance to get into that building and witness a basketball type of atmosphere. It's really nice for everyone. You only do that when you're cooking.
Right. Rick Mahorn is back in the lineup for the Pistons as Jordan misses the free throw. In the lineup for Detroit, they have Dumars and Johnson at guard, and up front it's Rodman, Edwards, and Mahorn. Hodges and Jordan at guard, and it's Sellers, Cartwright, and Grant. And again, Grant playing with 2 personal fouls. A key man with Pippen out with the injury. Yet the Bulls are up by 2.
They're going to keep working Vinnie Johnson now because they feel that they can take Hodges on any kind of movement.
Edwards misses the reverse layoff, but good body play by Cartwright. Jordan double team behind a Hodges, spots for a 3. And Sellers saves it for Jordan. Good hustle by Brad Sellers. Crowd has not always been in his corner, but they are tonight. Plenty of time on the clock. Jordan inside. But again, the Bulls miss it, and it's Detroit ball.
I cannot emphasize enough, Dick, when Michael Jordan gets down in there and you're playing on his team, he delivers the pass to you. You've got to have your arms up so that as soon as you catch it, you can attack the basket.
Grant missed the shot, and the Bulls no baskets now in 6.5 minutes of play. Yet they lead by 2. Vinnie Johnson and Sellers did a good defensive job on him. Bulls need a win to send it to 7. Detroit trying to close it out. Jordan double teamed and short. Here's a 2-on-1 break, Detroit. Vinnie Johnson this week.
Great defense by Hodges that time. Cutting him off, intimidated that shot.
Hodges for 3.
That's the one they've been waiting for.
Craig Hodges now with 14 three-point baskets is the leading shooter from that range, and Chicago is up by 5. 8:20 remaining in the second period. Cartwright on the switch. Edwards not picked up. Gets the basket and draws the foul, and the Bulls did not play that pick and roll well.
See, the Bulls are trying to trap the pick and roll anytime that a center is involved, either Cartwright or Corzine. You'll see them step out and trap, except now when the ball goes to Edwards, the opposite side must come quicker. And this play has been hurting them in every single game.
The foul was on Michael Jordan, his first team foul. Chicago has 2 and the Pistons 3. So Edwards converts on a 3-point affair, and it's 31-29 Bulls. Isaiah Thomas back in the game guarding Hodges.
Everything at playoff time, Dick, is getting your key people the ball where they're the most comfortable. And they've got to do something with Edwards because he is really on a flow for himself at the other end.
Cartwright with a short left-handed shot. Sellers on the tip by Grant. Grant kept it alive. Illegal defense against the Pistons. That's a warning. The second time will be a technical foul as Rick Mahorn gets an earful from Chuck Daly.
Well, that's because the Pistons are conditioned to be ready to double team and come from any angle on the floor in their rotations. And Mahorn got caught out of position that time.
And they throw it away as Hodges and Grant get mixed up in the backcourt. The Pistons had seemingly all of the turnovers early, and now the Bulls are committing a few of their own. Detroit has yet to hit a basket this period. Chicago only 1. It's drought city for both teams.
Here's another pick and roll. See, there it is.
Get it to Rick Mahorn, and Rick Mahorn tips it in.
See, that rotation player has got to get over there and defend that catch better than what they're doing.
Jordan wants Sellers to clear out. Rodman quickly doubles.
There you go.
Hodges for 3. There he goes. You had that ball in the basket before he got the ball.
You know why? It's one of the very few times that they've made the second pass. The first pass out of the trap, they usually cover. The second pass gets you the free shot.
That'll be the 13th foul on Chicago, non-shooting foul. And it'll be on Horace Grant. So the Bulls have a big problem now because Horace Grant, their top rebounder, has 3 personal fouls. And his 8 rebounds will have to go to the bench right now. Timeout. Bill Laimbeer has checked back in. He's in there along with Thomas, who have been back. Laimbeer, Rodman, and Mahorn. Detroit has 31 points, 19 of them from their bench, only 12 by their starters. Thomas adds 2 more, and he has 6 points, the leading scorer for Detroit. Vinnie Johnson with 8. Michael Jordan has 13 to top the Bulls. Here's Hodges, who's hit 2, now 3 3-point baskets, and that's what the Bulls need. That's why they got him from Phoenix, formerly with Milwaukee. They wanted Hodges' long-range shooting. Chicago by 4. Perimeter passing, shooting, Laimbeer. Chicago had basically taken Laimbeer out of the offense in this series. He has scored in double figures in only the first game of it.
Well, he's really struggling. Plus, he's only had 2 foul shot attempts in 5 games.
Here's Jordan going inside. Not that time. Off the rim and a foul called. Loose ball foul against the Bulls, and Jordan commits his second. The 4th team foul against Chicago. 1 more in there in the penalty.
I tell you, I'm loving watching him tonight. He is really attacking people off the dribble, making it happen, and doing something with that incredible athletic talent.
Pistons can tie it up with a basket. Isaiah Thomas gives it to him, and he's run the hot hand now. So Thomas and Vinnie Johnson each with 8, and we're knotted at 37. In the first quarter, the Bulls had a 12-point lead, and they came out blazing. Michael Jordan looking for the outside shot. 15 for Michael.
See, in previous games, he would have taken that trap, passed the ball right to Corzine, and allowed the other players to do it. Not tonight.
Off the screen, Thomas. Laimbeer keeps it alive. Thomas has the hot hand. He has 10 points, 6 of them already in this quarter.
Remember we said in that first quarter, Dick, he started out struggling, 1 for 6, but he's in his streak now.
Corzine. Couple of fakes. Rodman would love him to go up with it. Sellers short with the jumper. And there's Laimbeer. Outlet pass nicely to Dumars. Pistons looking for a lead, and they've got it. Isaiah Thomas, and the Pistons have their first lead since 2-0 to start the game, and Doug Collins will call a timeout for Chicago. So Thomas has a weekend, and a lot of balance for Detroit in the scoring department. There are 3 players on the court. Scottie Pippen, by the way, who's hurt right now. Dennis Rodman of the Pistons, and Rick Mahorn, who really didn't come from big-name schools.
Well, they were NAI players. All of them were All-Americans. Rick Mahorn played at Hampton Institute. He's now in his 11th year. You have Dennis Rodman in his 4th, and you have Scottie Pippen out of Central Arkansas. And then remember, Rodman came from Southeast Oklahoma State. Now, with the scouting reports that we have from Marty Blake, and then the team's doing a great job, it really doesn't matter where you play today at any level, Division I, II, or III, or the NAIA, because if you have the talent, they'll find you, and then you get a chance to display it, and if you've got it, you can stick around like a Mahorn.
That's a good lesson to kids who can't go to the big schools. Isaiah Thomas has scored 8 of the Pistons' last 10 points, and his buddy Mark Aguirre has come in now, and he's guarding Brad Sellers. 4 minutes and 10 seconds to go in the first half. There's the 24-second shot clock winding down to get it off in time. And here comes Thomas. It's a 3-on-2 break. Jordan into the throw now defensively. Pistons lead 41-39. Only their second lead of the game since the opening hoop. Good feed inside. Laimbeer to Dumars. Nothing doing for Detroit. Both teams' interior defense looks good in the first half.
Excellent. They're really getting to the people.
Jordan on an errant pass. Dumars to Aguirre, and the Pistons are up by 4.
See, in all the transition, Dick, Detroit is able to get 2-on-1, 3-on-2. They have the advantage. The Bulls are not on the offensive board, and they're not back in the transition defense. So Doug's got to get him. Where are you? You have to be in one of these two places.
Sellers with a runner. And it'll drop through. But you saw the shooting percentages are total contrast to what we saw in the first quarter, where the Pistons making theirs and the Bulls struggling.
Tell you, Brad Sellers is playing real big for Chicago. And where would they be without his points?
Thomas in the corner misses. Hodges with a 2-on-1 with Jordan.
Nice.
And Dumars played Jordan. He played the percentages, and Craig Hodges had the open layup.
Yeah, but Michael gave him a little hesitation move that time. That was beautiful.
You mentioned Sellers. He has 10 off the bench for the Bulls. Tied at 43. Jordan with another steal. He's playing his own game out here, Hughie.
And you know what? He's enjoying himself tonight. He really is.
Gets it back from Davis. Trapped in the baseline. Here's Hodges. A 2. And we're winding down to the 2-minute mark of a sizzling first half in which the Bulls moved out strongly early and the Pistons came back to take a 4-point lead, but we're all tied up with under 2 minutes to play. This is survival for the Bulls. They need to win to keep the series alive. Aguirre gets it off in time on the 24-second clock, but traveling will turn it over to Chicago.
Up and down that time on Joe Dumars. Joe thought he was fouled, but when he went up, he came right down on the floor. Traveled. Good call.
Jordan with 15 leads the Bulls. Hodges has 13. That's 28 points combined for the starting backcourt.
Really in a battle.
Hodges with a fake on Thomas, goes strong to the hoop, batted away. And they'll have 5 seconds to try a shot with 1:22 showing in the game clock in the first half. Jordan. Sellers tries to keep it alive, but a 3-on-1 now for the Pistons. Aguirre to Dumars, and Detroit takes the lead.
See, it's a big weakness, Dick. They're getting out there too easy. 2-on-1, 3-on-1. No good, because, you know, that will wear you down over the course of the ball game. The team that gets the most easy baskets will win it.
And Chicago has been wearing down little and little each game. Sellers with the fake, and will go to the line.
The foul on Bill Laimbeer.
Bill Laimbeer with his second foul.
Brad Sellers to shoot.
The man they love to boo, Harry B.
John Paxson for Michael Jordan.
He's really been struggling in this series, averaging only 5 rebounds, you know, very few points.
John Paxson is in, replacing Jordan, who goes out with 15 points. Still a big problem for the Chicago Bulls when the second half comes around is the fact that Horace Grant, their leading rebounder, is hampered with 3 personal fouls. And you know that when he does come back in the second half, the Pistons will try to get him into deeper foul trouble.
Well, just think, coming into tonight's game, Brad Sellers has only played 25 minutes in 5 games. And for him to come off the bench and give you this kind of effort, I'm very happy for the young man.
He didn't play for 3 of them. Dumars inside Mahorn. Good inside basket by Rick Mahorn.
See, without Grant on the floor, Chicago has no shot blocking, so Detroit can take it right down their throats.
And Pippen, who had been a tremendous rebounder in this series for the Bulls, in the dressing room, nursing an injury. He was elbowed in the face, and Chicago hopes he comes back with 25 seconds left. The Bulls have 8 seconds to try a shot, and Jordan quickly will enter the game.
Michael Jordan back.
47-45 in favor of the Pistons. Cartwright goes out. Bill Cartwright has yet to score tonight and has only 2 rebounds. The Bulls will need his offense in the second half. Jordan with a... And Sellers will be called for the foul, crashing the board.
On Brad Sellers.
Loose ball foul against Sellers with 18 seconds to go. Pistons are not over the limit. The next foul, of course, will put him there. But Detroit has to feel very good about things, not only by the fact that Scottie Pippen has not been any factor having left the game in the first minute, but Horace Grant is in foul trouble, and Pistons have to feel that just by staying even with the Bulls, they're in good shape.
Yeah, but if I'm with the Bulls, I'm also happy because they ran a section there of close to 6 minutes where they could not make a field goal. They have lost Scottie Pippen, plus Grant has given you limited time, and you're right there.
Okay, both are feeling happy right now, Jimmy. They're dancing in the streets. Okay,
it around a little bit.
John Long, a veteran guard who was with the Pistons in the bad years. He has seen them lose 60 games in a year and now win 60 games, has come in. By the way, 9 different Pistons have scored already in this game. Aguirre makes the free throws. 49-45, Detroit. Michael Jordan, after a sizzling first quarter, has made only 1 of 6 shots here in the second. Greg Hodges has kept him in the game with 11 points. Jordan will go to the line with 2 seconds to go.
Well, they were determined that he was not going to make a layup on that drive.
Well, it's playoff basketball, right? Should be no easy layups at this level of play.
Well, during the regular season, Michael goes to the foul line 9 times a game. But in the playoffs, 17 games he's averaging, this being the 17th, 13 attempts. You know, that's really taking physical punishment, going at it. New York series, he had to beat the press. In this series, he has to beat the double and triple teams and the body wear down.
The only game Jordan did not lead the Bulls in scoring was the last game when Craig Hodges scored 19. Jordan had to settle for 18 and in fact scored only 1 point in the 4th quarter. Isaiah Thomas getting treatment for ice on his leg. Michael Jordan, who originally wanted to be a baseball player, eventually wants to become a golf star. He's pretty good at it right now. 20-second timeout called by Chuck Daly. 2 seconds to go and Detroit up by a pair.
When you're in this situation, you're probably going to go with some form of a long pass first. If they take that away, you would like to make a pass somewhere up to half court, because in 2 seconds you can get and cover an awful lot of ground if your dribbler does not get double teamed. It's amazing how many times in the NBA that they'll get off a good shot in this position. Defensively, you're trying not to allow your man to go long for a long catch.
Aguirre has to go to Johnson short. He gets it off in time, but nothing doing. Michael Jordan with 17 and Isaiah Thomas with 12 are the highest scorers as that ends the first half with the Pistons leading the Bulls 49-47 in Game 6. The pattern has been the same in the series. The Pistons have weathered an early spurt and an early storm by the Chicago Bulls and have come back, and they may be in better position than they know, because Hubie Brown just talked a few moments ago with the Bulls head coach Doug Collins, and here's how that went.
Doug, the condition of Scottie Pippen.
Well, Scottie won't play anymore tonight. He was knocked out, and the doctor just doesn't feel he can play tonight. So that's a real severe blow for us.
It's a tough loss. Grant's fouls. Where is your major emphasis right now?
Well, you know, my biggest concern is that we got a team on the floor there at one point when I was trying to rest some guys that couldn't score, and we've got to have good floor balance. And I want us to keep pushing the ball up the floor. I don't want to get into a half-court game because we can't win that way.
Good luck, Doug.
Thanks, you.
Meanwhile, Isaiah Thomas suffered a slight right hamstring pull toward the end of the half, and that's been bandaged up. But you heard the word, Scottie Pippen won't be back. Grant is playing with 3 personal fouls. Bill Cartwright has yet to score. And if it weren't for the guards, the Bulls would be in bad shape right now. They go in early to Cartwright. The shot is blocked, and it's Detroit ball. So a good block inside by Rick Mahorn.
Excellent defense by Mahorn. Push Cartwright behind the backboard. Force him to shoot with the left hand. Easy to block.
It's the starting lineup of Aguirre, Mahorn, Laimbeer, Dumars, and Thomas for Detroit in blue. Here's Isaiah Thomas, short with it, and Jordan the rebound. Well,
you can see, Dick, that really affected his elevation on that shot.
All right, we're watching Hodges. Craig Hodges hit 3 3-point baskets. And if he's on, that'll be good news for the Bulls. We'll keep him in the game, but if he's not, it could be long rebounds and easy hoops for Detroit. Thomas again tries to test the hamstring. Pistons really nearly saved it. Aguirre and Mahorn, but into the hands. Jordan hits three. Michael Jordan. Well, they'll have to get hoops from somebody. What's wrong with him?
Yeah, but wait a second. How about a 3-on-2 fast break? You pull up and take a three.
It gives the Bulls the lead by one. Thomas turns it around in favor of Detroit. The Bulls have scored only one basket by a front court player in the last 18 minutes of this game. Everything from the backcourt other than the one hoop. We had a delay of game one. Jordan slices in. Will he try to score every point the rest of the game?
See, every time he drives to the baseline, Dick, they double team so fast. The big men of Chicago must get on the offensive board for the missed shot.
Laimbeer for three. Hits it. Big basket, and Bill Laimbeer starts to get cooking. He has been cold from the field in this series. Detroit will answer anything Chicago has.
Well, he's been shooting the threes really well throughout the entire playoffs, but in this series, he's been struggling from outside.
Jordan again pushed, stepped on the line, no foul, and a turnover.
He feels that he got bumped, Dick. You can see it.
Pistons with a 63-19 record, best in the league this year. If they survive, they'll have home court advantage on the Lakers. Laimbeer misses from the corner, rebound by Hartman. But the Bulls will have something to say about this series. Hodges with the basket, a two-point hoop just inside the three-point line. The shooting percentages changed drastically from quarter to quarter.
If they can keep hitting those outside shots, Dick, maybe you and I will be able to, expel the virtues of both ball clubs.
They both deserve it. Thomas, 24-second clock expired.
The thing that I like, Dick, that any time that Detroit misses at the beginning of this quarter, Chicago is really looking to get the ball out, and the fast break is there for them.
We're tied at 54. We have had 8 ties in this game. Michael Jordan unties it. 24 points for Michael Jordan.
Hey, where's that theory of when I get double teamed like that, I'm going to pass off and put the pressure on the other people?
That is unless I hang in the air and get a hoop. Dumars try to draw the foul, and Laimbeer gets the offensive rebound. Second chance points. Detroit had a 10-0 edge in the first half and then just got 2 more. So they've been getting the second shots, and the Bulls have not. Cartwright pushing out Mahorn.
This is some battle.
And they'll call the foul against Mahorn. It'll be 3 on Rick. Cartwright still looking for his first points of the game. Went in averaging 12 points in the playoffs.
Watch these two guys battle for position. You have a lot of size there. Now Mahorn, you see, he took a shot right in the face that time, but that's the way he plays. That's fine.
Jordan lost it on the drive, and Dumars takes it right back and lays it in. So the ball was stripped away by Dumars, and he got 2 at the other end.
That was a lesson in how to shy your body away from a good defensive man trying to strip you.
Cartwright fouled, and he'll have a chance to get in the board.
Foul on Rick Mahorn, his 4th.
4 on Mahorn now. He has gotten into foul trouble the last 3 games of this series, but you got to remember that with a bench of John Sally and Dennis Rodman, the Pistons are not in desperate straits if he gets into big foul trouble. Here's Sally.
When you look back, Dick, over the games, coming in here, Mahorn has only played 12 minutes in each of the 3 games because of foul trouble, but there's no drop-off because of Sally and Rodman. Their exhibitions have been sensational.
Cartwright with his first point, but we'll have to wait on that. Chicago Stadium, the scene of Game 6, the NBA Eastern Conference Finals. The Bulls trying to send it to a 7th game. It will be played Sunday at the Palace or Auburn Hills. Detroit trying to win the Eastern Conference for the 2nd straight year. and go into the finals again against the powerful LA Lakers. That would start Tuesday night in Detroit. Pick and roll, Lane Beer, Dick Stockton, Hubie Brown, and Pat O'Brien all here at the stadium, and it's rocking. Dumars. Blue shirts underneath. Sally with the offensive rebound in the basket, and the Pistons again are making their mark off the offensive glass.
They're making you pay. They get on that glass and they seem to score or get fouled.
Jordan thought he was fouled. He yells at Crawford as he comes up court, but it was fine defense by Detroit. Lane Beer misses a three. Sally got hit in the face at the other end. Here comes Jordan. I think Jordan's upset.
Well, he's on Joey Crawford because he felt that he definitely got fouled on that last play previous to this.
Sally got hit by Jordan on the last time they came up court right here.
Well, let's see this. Let's take a good look here now. There's Jordan stepping through. There's the forearm right down on Sally. You know, when that blow comes down and that elbow hits you, boy, it's a vicious shot.
Three fouls on Sally. 7:27 remaining in this third quarter. Jordan is 5 of 9 from the line. That's not a good percentage from the free throw strike, and the Pistons are up by 3.
Not when you're an 85% shooter throughout your career.
Grant on Aguirre. Grant playing with 3 personal fouls. Lane Beer against Sellers. Kareem skyhook, Lane Beer style, and the Pistons are up by 5, and that's their biggest lead of the game, and a timeout called by Chicago. So Thomas with 14, still the leading scorer for the Pistons, and Michael has 2-4, 24. 62-57, and a critical time of the game for the Bulls right here, Hubie. Down by 5, Pistons with their biggest lead. Jordan tipped up, and Grant is fouled. It'll be Detroit's 4th team foul.
One of the very few times, Dick, that we've seen the offensive rebounding today.
4 on Sally, and Grant will go to the free throw line. You know, Chicago Stadium, second oldest stadium. There's Rodman into the game. One of the loudest arenas. What does Grant say what visiting players complain about?
Well, you know, he said the visiting players that the noise gets so deafening in here, it hurts their ears. But for him, he uses it out of motivational force. And he just says it makes me feel good and I can rise to the occasion. He's really matured this year.
Do you know if he's wearing those Clemson shorts under his basketball shorts? Like,
yeah, but we know that he's got to increase his contribution to that Iptay fund.
Michael Jordan with Carolina shorts underneath. 2 free throws, and it cuts the Detroit lead to 3. 6:35 remaining in the third quarter. Lane Beer setting a pick up high. Jordan stays with Isaiah. Grant all over Lane Beer despite 3 persons. 4 on the shot clock. Thomas will have to put it up. In and out. Lane Beer, offensive rebound. Lane Beer again, and the foul. So the Bulls cannot get a defensive rebound, and the Pistons are punishing them, as you pointed out, again.
This looks like the Lambeer from previous years. We have not seen him on the offensive boards at any time throughout this series. But tonight, he realizes that if he gets down in there, he can change the complexion. This is his 3rd offensive board in this quarter.
For Grant, it is his 4th personal foul. 4 on Horace Grant, who has to stay in there.
Now, the reason for that strategy is that Doug does not want this game to go anywhere between 5 to 10. He does not want to see it get into double numbers.
Bill Laimbeer, here comes Charles Davis. Bill Laimbeer scored only 2 points in the first half. He has 9 here in the third quarter, and the lead is 64-59. Again, the Pistons by 5. Davis waiting at the scorer's table, will be checking in. Sellers. Rebound Rodman. During the regular season, Detroit won all 6 games over Chicago, but the Bulls stunned the Pistons, winning game 1 and had a 2-1 lead in this series after 3 games. Detroit's won the last 2. They're playing Piston basketball. Thomas in the lane, and Detroit doing the right things now, and they're up by 7, their biggest lead of the game, and the Bulls have not had much scoring at all from the front court. We told you before, it was 17 minutes, they've gone 6 more without a basket from up front. Jordan gets 2 back. 26 for Jordan.
I'd say he made that look so simple. He gets get down in there, Dumars cuts him off, he runs a reverse dribble, steps through, and makes a beautiful shot.
Thomas inside to Dumars, and a foul, a 2-shot foul. Here's Davis, and Graham will come out with 4 fouls. So Doug Collins is going to hope that the Bulls can hang in there while Grant goes to the bench. Meanwhile, Laimbeer and Thomas go out, and Edwards and Vinnie Johnson come in, and this is where the Detroit Pistons are murder to beat.
Well, this is where they turn it on in games 4 and 5, and they are looking to do it in game 6 with this unit on the floor.
Really doesn't matter which 5 are out there for the Pistons. They have gotten the job done this season with any combination late in the games.
From a coaching standpoint, Detroit's quickness in the last 4 to 5 minutes has just been awesome. And they are like taking everything away. Loose balls, offensive boards, and then excellent defense at the other end of the floor.
Joe Dumars has 8 points. 7-point lead, 68-61. Jordan finds Davis. The Charles Davis scores. He had been held scoreless the last 2 games. And the Bulls trail the Pistons by 5.
They need to get Detroit to get a few misses and then hold them to 1 shot.
Offensive foul against, is it James Edwards? It is, second on Edwards. Chuck Daly doesn't like it.
Well, if you think about it, Dick, in the second and third quarter, one of the very few turnovers by Detroit.
5-point lead. Jordan covered by Rodman and Dumars, double team. Sellers goes into the hoop. Winds up on the floor, and a Detroit foul.
See, you can't go soft to the basket like that. Sellers had a good opportunity to attack the basket, get a possible dunk or get fouled, and he threw up a soft shot.
Cartwright committed the foul. It was not against Detroit, but again, there's where Brad Sellers has not been aggressive going to the hoop. Detroit turned it over early and then have protected the ball beautifully since. Edwards hit and will go to the line to shoot a pair.
Very few times when Detroit goes into Edwards into the low post or power area will he pass the ball out. You have got to make a very, very strong commitment to a double or a triple team. But if he's 1-on-1 or 1 against 1.5, shall we say, he's going for the score.
Hodges with the foul. Here's James Edwards. A great pickup by the Pistons last year and very nearly won them a championship. When you can come off the bench with a player of his size and offensive ability, very few teams can match up with what they have off the bench.
Well, you think in game 4, 13 points in 21 minutes. In game 5, 12 points in 24 minutes. Big contributions.
Jordan. And it goes through.
Oh, my, yes. You see, Detroit all wanted goaltending. They thought that Cartwright's hand touched that ball while it was over the cylinder. From here, and you can see Chuck Daly laughing. He wouldn't be laughing if the game was closer, I'll tell you that.
I thought it was goaltending, actually.
Absolutely.
They gave it to Cartwright. Cartwright gets credit for the basket. Double team on Edwards. Did not get a good pass to Vinnie Johnson. 4 on the shot clock. Edwards gets the basket. That's the kind of shot almost impossible to stop. The fall away and the drive into the lane.
Not a bad move, right? When you consider that, that's a 7-footer throwing a fadeaway on you.
Davis again from Jordan.
See, they missed that easy opportunity again.
And a loose ball foul called against Chicago.
Loose ball foul on Bill Cartwright.
Cartwright with his 3rd. He doesn't believe it. 3:28 remaining in the 3rd quarter. The Bulls led by 2 after 1 period, and then Detroit led by 2 at the half. But the numbers are deceiving. Scottie Pippen was hit by an elbow in the first minute of play and has not returned to the game. He was knocked out for a while. Grant, their top rebounder, has been in foul trouble, and the Pistons have just dominated the Bulls offensive rebounding wise in the bench, and it's a broken record. That's been the story the last 2 games.
When you play against a great defensive team like Detroit, and you get scoring opportunities inside of 5 or 6 feet, you must make them count, because you're not going to get that many. So when you blow them and then you get loose ball fouls, you're complicating it. You're getting 2 negatives back to back.
Edwards with 11 points, so he's in double figures for the 3rd straight game. Biggest lead for the Pistons. Jordan has it knocked away and lost it out of bounds. So it was last touched by Jordan, and the furrowed brow says much about Chicago's plight right now. The lead is 9. Vinnie Johnson misses the perimeter. Jordan back guarded by Aguirre. Hodges for a 3. They're great when they go in. When they miss, the other team can get a long rebound and set the tempo. Under 3 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter. It's going to be a long uphill climb for the Chicago Bulls if they're going to send us to 7. Vinnie Johnson with a runner in the lane. Another chance. Kept alive by Rodman. Beautiful.
How's that for hustle?
And this sequence also speaks volumes for the Pistons style.
Well, the Pistons will milk the clock. They're an excellent half-court execution type of team. They'll run their options 1, 2, 3. And then if you're going to give them second shots, you're in trouble.
And they'll have the foul against Detroit this time. Vinnie Johnson on a loose ball foul.
When this shot goes up, you'll see Vinnie take an off-balance shot. Now watch Rodman here keeping it alive versus 2 players, and then the big save, presence of mind to deliver the pass.
One of the more moving scenes in Chicago Stadium after a Bulls win is the picture of Doug Collins hugging his son Chris Collins after a game. And I'm here with Chris, who's the ball boy for the Bulls. And Chris, what's Doug been like this week preparing for this game?
Well, he's been a little nervous around the house, you know how the games are going to go, but he's been excited that, I mean, they've never been this far, and he's just excited that the team's really played well.
You got the best seat in the house. The Bulls look a little flat. You think they can pull out of it?
Anytime you have Michael Jordan, I think you can win.
Said it right. See you later, Chris. Chris Collins, 15. I think he's done this before.
All right, you know, Doug Collins also has an 11-year-old daughter, Kelly, who not really that involved in basketball, and he says that today she was looking at the highlight tape of last season, so she's really revved up. And when he left tonight, said, "Daddy, if you lose, don't come home. Your back's against the wall." That's Kelly, who also, by the way, gave him a good luck bracelet. She was home from school. She was sick today and gave him a good luck bracelet. How do you like your daughter to tell you that on your way out, huh? Sellers with 14 points off the bench. Detroit's bench has outscored Chicago's 27-16. Dave Corzine has come in, replacing Cartwright. 2 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter. Edwards blocked by Sellers. 7-point lead. Let's see if the Bulls can keep things interesting going into the 4th quarter. Jordan lost the ball. And it's Detroit's possession. We've seen a few of that tonight.
Yeah, Michael is very frustrated with himself that time. The ball slipped right out of his hand as he was going to make the big step for the penetration to the basket.
7-point lead as the Bulls again missed an opportunity on offense. They got to make the most of them. Vinnie Johnson behind his back. Errant pass. Here's Jordan with Aguirre defending, and Jordan missed the layup. And Rodman comes down.
You notice 3 Detroit guys chased him right to the basket.
Michael Jordan showing a little of the humanity tonight. Edwards. And Rodman pushed off. Loose ball foul against Dennis Rodman, only his first foul of the game. With 1:11 on the clock, penalty situation, and the Bulls can cut it to 5 on the line. John Paxson comes in. Now let's talk a little bit about Dennis Rodman, who has not played exactly like he has in recent games, but it should be brought out that he pulled a muscle in his back in today's shootout. That was told to us by the Detroit people who wanted it confidential.
Well, they weren't sure how he would react tonight,
That's right.
Dick. See, in Game 5, he has 14 rebounds. In Game 4, 18 rebounds. He's averaging 13 in this series. But they wanted to see how he would do tonight going up and down. But you can see he's picking his spots, but he's still there for them defensively. He keeps a lot of things alive.
Meanwhile, ice being applied to Michael Jordan's thigh as he gets a rest, as he usually does at this juncture late in the third quarter. Goes out with 26 points.
Well, the second unit must give them good defense now. Hold Detroit to one shot and make something happen. They're in the trap now, a 1-2-2 trap.
Brad Sellers, by the way, with 16 points. Rodman. And a Chicago foul against Brad Sellers, his third.
He's really upset because he thought that Rodman stepped into him and possibly had an offensive foul. Doug wants to make sure that they block out because Rodman is not a good foul shooter.
Rodman is shooting 63% from the line in the playoffs. That's better than he was last year. And he seems to have improved on the line.
He knocked that one down very easy. He just stepped up there and let it rip.
1 and 2. Davis with the rebound.
Collins was right.
75-69 in favor of the Pistons with that much time remaining in the third quarter.
They get one now, this building will erupt.
Corzine goes in. Will shoot 2. So the veteran Dave Corzine, who used to be booed by the fans here, then he became their favorite. Brad Sellers took the mantle of the fans' despair, and now they're kind of liking him tonight. But here's Corzine shooting a pair. Foul was on Edwards, 3 on James. Bulls can ill afford missing any opportunity from the line or easy shots inside, and they have missed a bundle tonight.
See, this second unit in the first half, the only guy who scored was Sellers. And if you remember, that's when they had that little valley where they got 0 points and really played poor defensively.
The Bulls have missed 8 free throws tonight. They had a chance for 2 right there, and so with 42 seconds to go, Detroit with the ball and a 6-point lead.
See, the danger of playing this half-court trap is that if Detroit gets the ball into the middle or up, they are very weak on the boards.
Maguire missed into the hands of Rodman. And the foul. He'll shoot 2. Always a smile on the face of Dennis Rodman, a guy who, if he's on your side, you love him, and if he's not on your side, you think he's a pest.
Watch now when his shot goes up. You see Rodman? He went behind the backboard and then backed his way in. It's something which young players should really give a lot of thought to. He's working hard. Going under that backboard and then back your way out for the offensive rebound. Chuck Daly loves this guy, so everyone should have players like this. He practices every bit as hard as he plays in the games.
His rebounding is shot up, including a career-high 18 in game number 4. Look at the rebounding game by game for Dennis Rodman. He has 8 already in this one.
And you know what, Dick? He does it in half the game. He only plays 24 minutes. And remember, they run no plays at the offensive end of the floor for him. They tell him, you hustle and scrap and get everything off the glass.
We have 14 on the shot clock. A differential, as you see, of just a second between the shot clock and the game clock. Paxson goes low to Cartwright. Rodman the rebound with 3 seconds to go.
He can get it off.
Thomas misses, but the Piston lead right now of 8 is even bigger than the number 8. That's a good lead. That's the end of the third period with Michael Jordan looking down, and the score. The Pistons 77, the Bulls 69. We'll return to Chicago Stadium after this message and a word from your local station. And welcome back to the 1989 NBA playoffs on CBS Sports. We're in Chicago, Illinois. When we start the fourth quarter, the Detroit Pistons will have an 8-point lead. This is Dick Stockton along with Hubie Brown, Pat O'Brien here at Chicago Stadium. Leslie Visser is at the Palace at Auburn Hills, where enthusiastic Piston fans are hoping Detroit can hold on for another 12 minutes. And that's the scene at the Palace. There it is. And if Detroit wins, they'll start game number 1 Tuesday night against the Los Angeles Lakers. But we have 12 big minutes left. Michael Jordan, by the way, re-injured a groin that he hurt during the season and aggravated in game 3 of the Knicks series. Ice is on it. He's out there anyway to give it an all. He has 26 to lead Chicago, but he's hurting. Thomas with 16 leads 3 double-figure scorers for Detroit. Fourth period underway. Maguire hits the first basket. Once again, the Bulls started well in this game with 26 in the first period, but they've been shut down in the middle 2 quarters with 21 and 22 respectively. The lead is 10. It's the biggest lead of the game for Detroit. Rodman couldn't connect. Paxson in there along with Jordan, with Davis, Cartwright, and Grant playing with 4 fouls.
Well, the one thing you do not want to do now is to force up bad percentage shots. If you can't get down inside, you want the open J or go strong off the dribble.
That's the counts and the foul. He's limping and he's hurting. And he doesn't want his golf season to start just yet.
You'll see the quick move to the baseline and watch how he avoids and comes up on the other side. Beautiful.
Rodman committing the foul on Jordan. Rebound Grant kept it alive. Jordan slices in against 3 defenders and scores anyway in a simply extraordinary move.
Brought a lot of pain on that one, Dick. He really limped back to half court.
He is clutching the left leg with both hands. He is in pain. He has 30 points. Thomas. And Isaiah Thomas now with 18 points. And the story goes, when Isaiah has a big scoring game, Detroit is sitting pretty. Paxson open for 3 and hits it. John Paxson.
Does this look like game 3 with New York all over again?
It would look more like it if Michael Jordan weren't in obvious pain out there. Rodman, he leaps over everyone to get the loose ball. 11 rebounds for Rodman. Maguire misses, and a foul called against the Bulls. Charles Davis committing the foul. Chicago Stadium hoping this won't be the end of the line for the Chicago Bulls. They trailed the Pistons 81-76 in this 6th game. Trailing 3 games to 2. If the Pistons hold on, we move on to the finals against the Lakers as Joe Dumars replaces Vinnie Johnson. Sally is also in there now for Detroit. Paxson reaching in, commits the foul.
See, I like the intelligence of the Detroit Ball Club. They brought Dumars in. They posted him up right away on Paxson. Now, if they're going to do that, Paxson cannot play behind him. He must 3-quarter him or front him to discourage the pass.
Under 10 minutes to go. Paxson is guarding Dumars, who has the ability to score a good deal. Most of the time, he's been a defensive player for the Pistons. Cartwright, Thomas, believe me, little love between the two. Offensive foul called against Detroit.
Foul. Paxson anticipated well that time. Dumars felt the frustration and used a bang off of Paxson for an offensive foul.
Gentlemen, I'm back here at the Palace. I'm with Jim and Jeffrey Duchesne. Jim, you could be sitting home watching on TV. Why are you here?
Well, I've been trying to get tickets since before Christmas to bring my son Jeffrey down to a game, and they've been sold out for every game, so I figured this is the next best thing.
Yes, they have. Jeffrey told me who his favorite player is, Dennis Rodman. Why is that?
Because he's awesome.
Well, he certainly is awesome. Thank you both. Back to you, gentlemen.
10,000 fans are at the Palace. That's a fantastic story tonight. But the fans here at the stadium are hoping for another miracle. And Lord knows that Michael Jordan has given them a few of them. The Cleveland series, the Knicks series. And again here, that's the attendance comparison. Bill Laimbeer back in for Detroit. 9:41 remaining. Jordan hurting, but scored 30 points. Sellers with 16 off the bench as a replacement for Pippen.
See, Doug Collins wants the foul. Joe put both hands on him.
Jordan missed the shot, rebound, and the foul called against Detroit. Loose ball foul. Laimbeer. And that'll be 3 on him. What is Chuck Daly thinking right now, Hubie?
Well, you're never far enough ahead, and especially when you're in this building, you're only up 5. We have over 9 minutes to go. Michael Jordan on their side. Anything can happen.
The Bulls stole game 1 at the Palace, trying to steal another one, and that's what it would be. Plenty of time on the clock. Paxson. Foul will go to the line. That is the second team foul, 3rd now against Detroit.
See, the substitute players must do more of that. Anytime that Michael rotates the ball and a player catches it like Paxson did. When Detroit runs hard at you, not to give you the open jump shot, put it down on the floor and take it to the basket.
Yet the Chicago Bulls continue to frustrate themselves and their fans by missing free throws. They have connected on only 17 of 27 from the line. That's 10 points gone by the boards.
And you know, they're a very good team over the year. A 77% foul shooting team. That's terrific.
It's a 4-point game nonetheless. Plenty of time remaining. Laimbeer, top of the key. Cartwright. Jordan looks like he's running better now.
Yes, he is.
Paxson is open. A 2-point basket by Paxson. And it's a 2-point game. This is an incredible story. Timeout Detroit. For Chicago has no right being this close right now, Hubie.
Paxson is the guy that must step forward, Dick, because he can keep it honest.
The fans are still standing and cheering because the Bulls won't die, and Fennis Dembo, the rookie, can't stand the sound. What about Pat O'Brien? Pat, can you stand it?
Behind the Chicago Bulls bench, Doug Collins was screaming at his players, "Do not let our fans down. Keep the fans in the game. They need the emotional lift." Back to the table.
John Paxson has scored the last 6 points in the game. That's the run by the Bulls, who are trailing by 2. Dumars tries to save it and does. Thomas, top of the key, in and out, rebound by Grant, and Chicago can knot it up. They were down by as many as 10 and can tie it here. Jordan knocked away by Dumars. Great defense by Joe. 2-on-1 break Detroit. Feed inside. Foul. John Sally was fouled and will shoot a pair, and Jordan may have picked up his 3rd.
Foul on Michael Jordan. His 3rd.
On this shot, keep an eye on Paxson, how he's going to block out Dennis Rodman underneath, and you'll see the defensive rebound that time by Grant. You know, we just had a good display of excellent transition defense by Chicago. They got back, got in front of the people, but they just picked up a tough foul.
Sally is 69% from the line in the playoffs. That's not a good number.
If you're Chicago, what you're trying to do is to make Detroit shoot over the top of you every time and then block them out and hold them to 1.
One shot for Sally. Chuck Daly trying to get to the finals for the second straight year. And it's not been easy in this series after the Pistons swept the first 2 rounds. 4 minutes gone by. Cartwright, who has not been in the offense at all tonight. The rebound by Dumars. So the lead is 3 by Detroit, and they have the ball.
Well, Chuck Daly's looking for his playoff experience team to come to the forefront now and answer the execution.
Thomas is wide open, no one near him, and Isaiah Thomas hits.
See, that's the difference. The difference is the open, uncontested shot because they read the defense and they make the extra passes.
20 points for Isaiah. How are the Chicago Bulls hanging in there?
They're doing an excellent job defensively, Dick. Detroit is shooting at this juncture under 40%, and then Michael Jordan already has 30, plus he's setting up other people perimeter. Paxson a nice shot in the arm.
But the Pistons quieted the crowd somewhat the last 2 times down. Let's see how Chicago responds with 7.5 to play. Chicago led by 12 in the first quarter. Detroit with a 10-point lead here in the fourth. Jordan slips. Goes to Cartwright on the pick and roll, and Cartwright's fouled. And Sally is hit. That's going to be 5 on John Sally. One more, and he's out.
I see he was late on the rotation that time, coming in that little move by Michael Jordan, getting Cartwright the ball. I like what Cartwright did. He attacked the basket strong so that you don't come out of there with just a missed opportunity. This way, at least you're on the foul line shooting 2.
But Chicago has struggled from the line. They have missed 10 of 28. Aguirre will replace Sally, who goes out with 5 fouls. Sally has scored 5. Aguirre, who replaces him, has 10.
Well, Chuck Daly wants to have Sally and Rodman on the floor at the end of the game if it comes down to crunch time, because they are his better defenders.
Isn't it going to come down to crunch time, I would think?
I would think so.
The game has been crunch time. But Cartwright can't convert both. And now the Bulls have missed 11 from the line.
Well, all throughout the playoff series, not here, but throughout the entire league, the teams that could not execute the foul shots throughout the ball game have gone home.
Thomas guarded by Jordan with a runner, fouled by Jordan. That's 4 on Michael. And the Bulls are in the penalty. That's their 15th foul. Next foul on Detroit will also put them in that sphere.
That was an excellent move by Isaiah. Used the head fake, got Michael up in the air, which allowed him to beat him off the dribble, and then the defensive player is at the mercy of the guy taking the shot.
Isaiah Thomas, who spent most of the fourth quarter on the bench in Game 5. That's how versatile the Pistons are for Chuck Daly. Native of Chicago, Illinois, as is Mark Aguirre, coming home and would love dearly to knock out the Bulls and go to the finals with a win tonight.
Well, let's face it, in 3 wins, Isaiah's averaging 25. In the 2 losses, only 7.
And he's got 22 tonight. Paxson misses a 3. Lambier the rebound. The lead is 6 for Detroit. There's the time remaining in the fourth period.
That's a key possession for Detroit right now. They can open up a little breathing room.
Cartwright on Dumars on the switch. Grant is guarding Thomas. Isaiah hits from outside. Isaiah Thomas with 24 points has scored 8 in this fourth quarter.
He's been very inspirational in the second, third, and fourth quarters.
Paxson is open. He hits 2. So John Paxson now with 8 points of his own here in the fourth quarter.
They are not going away. Hanging tough.
They sure are. Win or lose, the Bulls deserve a tremendous amount of credit, but they're not looking for credit. They want the W. Dumars feeds inside to Rodman. A beautiful series of moves and passes by Dumars and Rodman under the basket. Rodman now with 14 rebounds and 9 points.
Once again, it's the second shot.
Paxson hits a 2. 10 points for Paxson in the quarter. Sellers, who has had to play most of the game with Pippen out, has scored 16.
Is Paxson playing big? Everyone says, hey, a slow feet. He can't do this, he can't do that. But he is knocking down the pressure shots.
Thomas would like to see Jordan pick up his fifth. Ball away by Isaiah. Sellers has it. 90-84. And they're going to call Rodman with the foul. I think
they're calling a double foul here, it looks like. Rodman and Michael Jordan.
Dennis Rodman and Michael
Well, that'll be 5 on Michael Jordan. One more and he's gone.
Rodman's third, Jordan's fourth.
You know what's difficult about that, Dick, is that they had an advantage going down the floor. There it is right there. Michael Jordan was pushed into Rodman and forced Rodman to hit the floor that time.
3 on Rodman. More important, 5 on Michael Jordan. One more and Jordan's gone. This is the 3. Thomas with the loose ball. 5 minutes remaining now in the fourth quarter. The Pistons 90, the Bulls 84 in what appears to be the highest scoring game of this series. Thomas is pushed. Paxson. And they'll shoot 2.
Tough foul. That puts them in the penalty. We have a replay for you. Watch Joe Dumars now. Remember, this was a loose ball. Watch how he comes in here and then steps through and wrap around pass. Beautiful. And Rodman, presence of mind to come up on the other side of the rim, knowing that if he came up on the original side, shot block.
Terrific game for Isaiah Thomas. We've told this story before, how as a kid he used to sneak into Chicago Stadium, as a lot of youngsters did. They love basketball so much, he used to go underground, under a tunnel, and then once the game started, would find an empty seat. Well, he'd have a tough time today, wouldn't he? You'd be not many empty seats.
Yeah, but I don't doubt that he would find a way.
26 for Thomas. His best game was 33 in the second contest. There's the time remaining. Steal by Isaiah. Hodges behind him. And a big basket by Thomas. That's twice in the series. He has made steals for easy layups. And the Pistons are up by 10. And time is beginning to run out for the Chicago Bulls.
How about the excitement of the bench?
NBA Commissioner David Stern and his lovely wife Diane next to him. And right now, let's go over to Pat O'Brien. Pat?
Oh, just inside the Detroit Pistons huddle, Chuck Daly is telling him, stick with what got us this far, defense. He said there's only 4:36 left. Stay with what got us here. And by the way, they're starting to throw things over on this side. They beefed up security. We'll keep our eye on that.
Pat, maybe they'll run a play for you if you were inside the huddle. You never know. There's the story. The Bulls had cut the lead to 81-79, but Isaiah Thomas has scored 10 of the last 13 Piston points to move it out to 10, which matches their biggest lead of the game.
Well, Detroit has that commitment to tough, hard-nosed defense, and like Dennis Rodman says at this time, we got to get a stop. That's his theme.
Jordan inside, foul. Both teams in the penalty. Brad Sellers with a big contribution of 16 points right now on the bench. Bill Laimbeer picks up the fourth, and Jordan will shoot a pair.
At this juncture, Dick, if Michael can knock in both of these shots, you're only down 8. You have over 4 minutes to play. But your defense must get a little tougher now.
Michael Jordan is 5 for 11 from the line. And the Chicago Bulls are having their worst free throw shooting game of the series. It couldn't come at a worse time for them.
Well, you can see, you know, the anguish on Doug Collins' face. He feels every one of them in his stomach.
He missed them both. Jordan exasperated as he comes up the floor. Where would they be without him? They'd be sitting home. Laimbeer for a 3. Hodges the rebound. So Hodges, Paxson, and Jordan, 3 guards in there now for Chicago, and Grant is fouled inside as the Bulls with one of their infrequent fast break opportunities today.
Well, they have to pick up the tempo a little bit now. Anytime that you're down 10, You know, you got to increase and go to your quick hitting offense.
Now, Doug Collins had what appeared to be some interesting admonitions for Jordan over there. We can't read the lips, but I think he wants him to say, don't get down when he missed the two.
Just keep going at it and forcing the action. Anything can happen here. Plenty of time.
Grant makes the first. Jordan had missed his last 5 free throws, so it'd be easy to get down over that.
I want to say Mark McGuire, that was a good, strong foul. He did not allow Grant to get that dunk, an easy layup.
Well, Grant makes them both. He has 9 points and 12 rebounds, playing with 4 fouls. The 4 fouls become less significant as the time moves on. Under 4 minutes to go.
With both teams shooting the penalty now, you're trying not to foul, and you're trying to make them shoot over.
Thomas misses Lambier at the other side, Cartwright, and it's going to be Detroit's ball.
See, you got to get those rebounds. Cartwright had Lambier blocked out, but his hands were down, and it just went right off, out of bounds.
The lead is 8 for Detroit. They'll try to use as much of the clock as they can. Dumars picked up again by Hodges. Thomas guarded by Jordan, who has 5 fouls.
Isaiah Thomas. Great.
Isaiah Thomas, 14 points here in the 4th quarter.
What a great fake.
30 points. And he's guarded by a guy who's 1 foul away from being disqualified. Jordan wants the ball. Double team. Goes up high. Determined against Lambier and Dumars to get the hoop. But it's still an 8-point game. 32 now for Michael Jordan.
The 2 stars are doing it.
Yes, they are. They are putting on a show in this game 6. Paxson went after the ball and ended up getting a piece of Isaiah Thomas. So John Paxson with 5 fouls. And he has come off the bench to score 10 big points here in the final quarter to give the Bulls a shot.
For someone who has a hamstring injury, his quickness tonight is really exceptional. You know, we see him doing it periodically in this series, but tonight he sustained it now for 3 quarters.
Jordan re-injured a groin pull. Thomas, 2 of the very best in the game. 10-point lead with 2:48 remaining and 32 points for Isaiah Thomas, 32 for Jordan. Hodges misses a 3 into the hands of Thomas. Dumars ahead of the field gets the basket. And it's 100-88, and that may be the straw that breaks the back of the Chicago Bulls. Timeout, Doug Collins. And Chuck Daly is 2.5 from getting back to the finals. Chuck Daly, coach of the Pistons, and his wife, Terry, sweating it out. Well, maybe she's not sweating, but she is anxious.
She's involved.
We shouldn't say that about her. Doug Collins. Doug Collins' wife here. Paxson. In and out. Grant follows up with the basket. To 90 with 2:12, winding down to 2 minutes to go. In the last 5.5 minutes, the Pistons have scored 18. That man with the ball, Isaiah Thomas, has 14 of them and assisted on another.
2 minutes.
Now we're under 2 minutes. Chicago's defense is pesky. Dumars gets it just at the 24-second buzzer. So the Pistons are the only team to score 100 in this series. They did it for 2 times. Game 2, when they scored 100, and tonight when they have 102 and still going. But Grant gets a hoop back.
If Chicago is going to do it, they need a few forced turnovers to get themselves out in the open floor, and then they need a few 3-point field goals.
By the way, that was Kathy Collins, the lovely wife of Doug, who you saw in the dark hair. Dumars, rebound by Aguirre, knocked away, but it's still Pistons ball.
They take turns, Dick. It's been a long night on the Chicago Bull defensive board. Give Detroit all the credit. A lot of hustle.
102-92.
So you don't milk that clock down. You know you can't go out there and just, you know, it's the old story. Do you foul them now and then let them go to the line? Excellent foul shooting club.
5 on the shot clock. McGuire from the corner misses, but Dennis Rodman keeps it alive, and the Pistons are under a minute from getting to the NBA Finals for the second straight year. Dennis Rodman with 15 rebounds continues tremendous play, and now the crowd will give the Bulls a standing ovation, and do they deserve it? They lost 8 of their last 10 games, and no one gave them a shot in the playoffs. They beat Cleveland in the 5th game on the road. They beat the Knicks, 2 teams that have won 50 games. They stole the opener of this series against Detroit and had a 2-1 lead and gave the defending conference champions a big scare. Michael Jordan led them. The fans came out in force, and they went as far as they could go, but midnight has struck for the Bulls. There's Thomas and Jordan with congratulations as Paxson fouls out. What can you say about Michael Jordan and what he has become in this league, Hubie?
It's just nice what the building is doing right now. Total appreciation of a great superstar. What he has meant not only to the franchise, but to the city.
There's no better individual player in the game of basketball today than that man. He averaged nearly 35 points a game in the playoffs. Scored as many as 50. That was against the Knicks. And he had 46 in a great Game 3 victory against Detroit. Vincent with the lay-in. But if the Pistons are going to move on to play the Lakers, and the difference between this year and last year, Detroit will have the home court edge and start Tuesday night at the Palace.
13 playoff games, 13 times they've held the opposition under 100 points.
The Chicago Bulls would like to thank the world's greatest fans for their support.
One of the best defensive teams in memory in the NBA are the Detroit Pistons, coached by Chuck Daly. And now they will take that great defense against the Los Angeles Lakers, who have only won every game in the playoffs thus far, 11-0, and want to win a 3rd straight world title. What an NBA Finals we are in store for, and it'll all begin Tuesday. Bulls have a lot to be proud about, Hubie. We've talked about them, but the Pistons go on.